Hey, guys. This is the next episode of DAC Talk, and I'm really excited to have my friend who I would have never met in the entire world if Periscope had never existed. Holly Gillen is a go-to video gal. I asked her for what's the title that you go by? Because you know how entrepreneurs are. We've got our own little titles, and especially when we're kind of flying solo, we make up things for ourselves. And I'm like, what should we call you? And she says, I am the go-to video gal or a video consultant. So Holly, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I've been really been wanting to have you on DAC Talk because I love your vibe. I totally dig it. And I think the people who listen to DAC Talk are going to dig it too.
Awesome. I'm so happy to be here, Dave. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, for sure. So just to give people a little bit of an idea of what it is that you do, how you help other entrepreneurs, how you help people, businesses, things like that, can you just explain what your shtick is? What's your role in Holly G Studios?
Sure. So with Ecology Studios, the idea or the concept behind the brand, the company is I have a background in video production. I've been in video production since 2008 in New York City, working as a videographer, producer, and editor. And I've taken all of those skills and I boiled them down into bite-sized pieces for entrepreneurs to learn how to DIY their own video productions. Basically, I empower online entrepreneurs to go from confused to confident on both sides of the camera, teaching them the skills they need to create what not just video, but what I like to call business cinema.
Nice.
And business cinema is the way that I like to describe the next level of video, not creating video for the sake of creating video, because that really does not serve a purpose in your business.
That's so true. Well,
Yeah.
so my background is in the church, and what would always happen is Sundays are really big in the church, and on Wednesday they'd be like, "Hey, we need to add something to Sunday morning." I'm like, "Well, what are we missing? What's the element that we don't have that we're trying to fill?" Well, I don't know. We just need to have something up there. I was like, "Well, if our message isn't strong enough to carry itself on its own, video's not going to do anything to help our message. It's just going to muddy things up, and it might make us feel good, but it's not going to do anything for our overall message." And no matter what the message is, video is meant to, wouldn't you say that video is meant to amplify your message? It doesn't create or clarify your message?
No, you really have to know the why before you start. You have to know why you're doing what you're doing. Otherwise, you're never it's like trying to discover a hidden treasure, but with no map.
Yeah. You can't do it.
No. You can, but it's going to take a really long time. You keep digging holes in the desert and see what happens.
I don't even know what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for something.
Exactly.
And I hope I find
I'll know
it.
when I find it, and that's not how it works.
So one of the things, and I think that that's really true, because one of the things I tell client, I was like, video is where productivity goes to die if you don't know what you're doing. You can just spin your circles. You can do all sorts of motion. You can do effects. You can do lower thirds. You can do titles, graphics, animation, all this stuff. But it's also time consuming if you don't know exactly what it is you're shooting for. What are some of the things that, let's just talk about you for a second. What are some of the things that you really have to get straight before you start recording video? Because I know for me, even with Periscope, I know that I have to have my mind wrapped around clarity of idea before I even launch a Periscope video, or else I'm just going to kind of meander and talk to myself. What are some of the things that you've learned for yourself that really make your videos effective?
So first, and I think this is a huge misconception that a lot of people have when it comes to video, is that the bulk of the work is on the end, when in reality, the bulk of the work is in the beginning. 60 to 65% of creating videos is video pre-production. And basically that just means that you're totally, completely, and ultimately prepared to create that piece of video content. And I have what I like to call the 4 pillars of pre-production, which are basically why, who, what, and how. And first things first, you have to understand why you're actually creating the content that you're creating. So basically, what are the goals? What are your video goals? Annual, monthly? What are you trying to do? What purpose is this video going to serve?
Yeah.
Then who is the audience? Because that's going to determine the what. Knowing who's going to be watching on the other end, so you can create specific content geared toward that particular audience, and make sure that you're using language that they'll understand. So that brings me to the third pillar, which is what. So what are you going to be talking about? What is your actual content going to be? And that could be making bullet points, writing a full script, or just kind of having an outline. the point is that you understand what you're talking about prior to hitting record, so you don't, like you just said, meander on or just ramble off into nowhere land, because no one wants to watch you ramble except maybe your mom. And then the fourth pillar is how. Like, how are you actually going to make it all come together? The production and post-production. What equipment are you going to use? You need to assess your own skill level. And if you aren't skilled in certain areas, you need to either invest in yourself or hire somebody who can help you, so that you're able to produce content that you feel good about.
Do you do all of your own editing on your own? Like, do you do everything by yourself, or do you have people that you outsource to? Do you have people that kind of help you?
Currently, I do everything myself.
Wow. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a realistic expectation that a lot of people out there, maybe because I do everything myself too. I actually have hired somebody kind of part-time to sort through footage, and then he sends it to me and I make final calls and edits and stuff like that. But I think a lot of times what'll happen is like we'll see, even you and I, like we'll see somebody who puts something together, maybe not video, but something else, and we think, oh my gosh, like that's what my stuff has to look like. That's what my stuff has to compete with. And we lose focus, or we lose perspective of the fact of like they've got a team working for them, or that is their primary skill. So do you find that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially ones who are flying solo, do you find that they put a lot of pressure on themselves to produce stuff that you or I may do really easily, but you get what I'm saying there?
Absolutely. Definitely. As far as like things that hang people up or things people get stuck on.
Yeah.
Making things perfect. And it's just unachievable, or trying to, like you said, compete with somebody who has a lot of money behind their production or a huge team using professional equipment to shoot and edit and add motion graphics and these sorts of things. When you're just one person, there is no way you can compete with that. So I think having that, like thinking that you need to be here, when really if you go back and in reality check where people who are here started, they started here.
Yeah.
They started where you're going to start, and you just build yourself up. The thing is that people think things need to be perfect. People think that things need to look the way that other people's videos already look. So don't compare your now. Wait, how does that saying go? Don't compare
yourself with anybody else. Compare yourself with who you were yesterday, and compare tomorrow with who you were today. Is that what you're talking about?
Something along those lines. Like, first of all, compare to spare. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, because there is no other you. Nobody else can be. No one else can deliver what you're going to be able to deliver. So getting back to perfection, you need to let go and just be prepared to deliver your best, whatever that is. Then do that every single time you make a video. Deliver your best. And before you know it, you're going to look back and you're going to say, geez, I've come a long way. My best has just gotten better and better and better and better. So that action is going to breed the results. And when you're taking action, you don't have the time to get stuck in procrastination station. Mm-hmm. You just are in action mode and you're doing it. And by doing it, you will gain valuable experience that you wouldn't have had a chance to get any other way.
I love that. And with the why, who, what, and how, I think that's really a good framework for people to kind of wrap their ideas around and say, look, if I'm going to hit record on a video camera, if I can answer these 4 things, and I mean, it's okay for people to even have notes too, starting off. I mean, if you're not gifted in just taking one idea and running with it, have some notes. I remember one of the first talks that I did for a digital conference. I was just, my mental space, I'm great on camera, right? Like I do well on camera. I can vamp on an idea for a long time, but my mental space was completely taken up by other things. And I was up against a deadline to produce a 15-minute talk for a digital conference. And I was just like, there's no way I'm going to be able to make it through the points that I want to hit, no matter how much I know it inside my heart. So what I did was I just wrote down cues on cards, and I just like, you can acknowledge it. You don't have to acknowledge it. I just acknowledged it from the very beginning. I said, look, what I'm about to give you is so good that I'm not trusting myself to deliver it correctly. I've actually put it down on cards because I want you to have every single point. And I've reminded myself the things that you are going to want to know. And so I kind of called attention to how important the material was. So important that I needed to have cards to prompt me. And I think little things like that can help us have that mental confidence. Like I was saying, mine was I just didn't have mental space to memorize and internalize it all.
No, that's great. You just draw attention to the fact that you have the cards, and then it's not something you need to think about after that.
Yeah. So, okay. So if I can get down the who, I can get down the what, I can get down the, let's see, why, who,
what, how.
And it's in that order, right? Like
Yes.
get those things
It is
answered.
in that order for a very specific reason.
You have to identify things. What Simon Sinek says, start with why. Like if you understand the why, it lays everything out for you. So let's just say that, we've kind of identified those things. What are some general rules that, I have a couple thoughts that I want to share too. And one of them, very, very well that I was telling everybody with Periscope, and I should probably do another one with that. So I have a couple thoughts too, but what are some of the things like low hanging fruit that you would say, hey, look, you don't have experience with doing video, that's fine. Don't get stuck on it. Get that why, who, what, and how. And here's some other things. What are some other things that you'd like add in there?
Do you mean like other ways that you can use video?
No, like mental tweaks. Like if you're talking to, like, let's just say you're my video consultant right now, and you're telling me, hey, here are the things that just make sure you have these things checked off before you start, and you'll be setting yourself up for success.
So the other thing that I teach my clients is the professional triangle. The professional triangle is lighting, audio, and graphics.
Oh, yeah.
Improving those three areas will greatly and vastly improve the quality of your videos. First of all, audio is even more important than the visual.
Yes.
People are a lot less forgiving of maybe a visual that's not really lit as well as it could be, or maybe is a little grainy, slightly out of focus. But if
I can see you're in pain right there saying that.
If the audio is not clear and crisp and easy to understand, then people will just not watch.
Who wants to hear this? Who wants to try to make this out?
It doesn't happen. So, improving the audio quality. So whether that means like you're starting with, if you're recording with your, let's say you're recording with your laptop or the camera built into your computer, upgrading to a Yeti mic or a microphone that is not just the microphone that comes with the computer, having an external mic. Same thing with your camera, not relying on the camera's audio, but setting yourself up with a lav mic or a boom mic or a stereo mic so that you can upgrade the quality of your audio.
The audio is so important. Can I tell a quick story?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you might have heard this one on Periscope, but I had a job, and it was for this major corporations. I don't work with big companies, but if a big company has a small department that comes to me and says, "Hey, we want to work with you," then I'll work with them because it's a lot easier to work with one person than it is a massive organization. So this really large company, comes to me that says, "We're going to send this out globally to our entire company across the globe." They're the biggest company in their space, billions and billions and billions of dollars in revenue. So huge organization. Yeah. We're going to send this out to the entire globe. I was like, okay, great. We can do the videos, no problem. And so I don't do much video work, but this was a clear win and I had a lot of time. So I was like, let's do it. And so I didn't have like a professional recording mechanism. So what I did is I took this iPhone 4 that I have, and I took a little Rode lav mic, and I ran it into the iPhone 4 and I recorded with the Rode app. And it sounds really, really good. Like it's a really good app for the cost. You may even have that one. A lot of people on Periscope.
I do. I have the smart lav.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Rode. Yep.
So we recorded at our first shoot. We kept recording. And I was like, okay, great. I think we got it. And all throughout the time I was starting and stopping. Well,
did you check it?
Well, okay. I checked it at the beginning. Okay. The last one, the recording was like the file was so big that the app crashed. And I lost like the last 15, 20 minutes. Like the final takes that we did, I lost the final 15 minutes of footage, or of audio track.
I feel your pain.
I felt like crying right then and there. I didn't say anything. I said, hey, the video looked great. As far as I can tell, the audio sounded fantastic. I'll let you know when we get back to post-production, how everything is. And I didn't tell them that I lost it. And I was able to piece together from the first section, I was able to piece together what we actually use. So it was after that moment that I said, you know what, I'm never going to this again. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get what I really, really need, because I'm going to be making money off this. So I needed to make an investment proportionate to the amount of income that it was going to be bringing in. And so I wound up buying, I don't have it here or else I'd hold it up. I wound up buying one of those Zoom 4-track recorders. Do you have that?
It's right here.
You do. Yeah, you got that. I bought one of those.
The Zoom H4n.
Yes. Yep. I got the one that was like the next iteration of it, like the most recent one.
Okay.
And that is me bragging, so FYI. I got that, and then I got a Sennheiser mic that sounds fantastic. But it was one of those deals where I was never going to find myself up you-know-what creek without a paddle. And I said, you know what? Like, I'm going to make the investment. Like you're saying, like, get something beyond the camera that you have with your computer. Get something beyond the microphone that comes with your computer. And I'm going to make sure that this stuff looks and sounds the way that it should. So what type of equipment would you recommend somebody start with? Like, no budget, okay? Like, not no budget, because then we could get crazy. Very low budget, but I want it to look decent. I want to be proud of the product I produce. What should I be looking at?
Sure. So first off, I always recommend that if you don't have a budget, you start with what you have and you try to make that as good as you can possibly make it. Bring it as far as you possibly can. And then upgrade as you go and as your budget allows. I have a very strong viewpoint, actually, when it comes to video and investing in video. And you touched upon it within your story. And it's basically that if you're going to charge people money for what they see, then you should take time and invest either in yourself so that you can shoot at an upgraded level, or invest in having somebody help you, and or invest in better equipment. All of those things matter. But definitely, if the one thing that doesn't change is you on video, you always need to invest in yourself. So whether that means you hire a video consultant or someone to help you round out, your skills and assess your equipment and make recommendations for you, then that's what you need to do.
Absolutely. I love that. I don't know why so many, well, I do know why. What I was going to say is I don't know why so many people who have a dream of launching their own business or who really want to make a push at their blog, what the aversion is to making that type of financial investment that you're talking about. But the thing is you and I, we were both there at some point in time. You just look at it, and why I say, well, I know what the difference is because it's like the devil and the angel on the shoulder. Like, you have one guy over here saying, hey, look, this is just something fun you're doing. You're just trying your hand out at it. You're not really serious, but you're having a lot of fun.
Sure.
And you've got ideas in your head and you just kind of want to sample them. And then the other guy over here is like, look, this is going to change your life. This is going to up your legacy. This is going to increase and improve your ability to care for your family. And what are the names of those two guys? It's hobby and business, right? Like, hobby and business are always at odds with one another. And when you consider something a hobby, then you're like, oh, I'll just use the microphone and the camera that came with my Mac or my Windows.
And you know what? If that's all you have, then really work on delivering a spot on, dead, awesome, valuable message.
Yeah.
Because I know there are plenty of people whose videos could use a little bit of an upgrade, but they have tons of followers.
Yeah.
Tons of conversations going based on the stuff that they're sharing, and it's because the stuff that they're sharing is quality.
Yeah.
So if you can't if you don't have the budget to really kind of upgrade the look, because it doesn't matter what it looks like if you're still not delivering quality, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like polishing a turd. Like, here, this looks really good, but it serves no purpose, and I got nothing from it.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a video that looks kind of okay, but I got a lot from it.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as well. So if you can't afford to invest in upgrading your equipment, make sure you're investing in the actual content.
Do you find that as you are trying to improve your product, as you're trying to improve what you do you find that you're able to get to that next level all by yourself without any help, nobody speaking into your life? Or do you find that you need like someone else to kind of speak in and draw things out of you? Which one of those winds up ringing true for you as you're trying to improve your message and your video and your production and your product?
You can't do it alone.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, even if it's just me bouncing ideas off my mastermind partners or talking to people in a membership group that I belong to, and just kind of testing things out or getting feedback. It's, even though I'm a solopreneur, I work for myself, I work at home, I don't do it alone.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't pretend to know everything, because that's impossible. And I love being able to be connected to so many amazingly smart, talented people that I can reach out to at any time and ask advice from.
Well, we've bounced things off of one another as well. Like, we've shot emails back and forth. And I know that I love your brand. I mean, I've told you that multiple times. I love that you say that, because you got to love your brand. I mean, it's you, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I absolutely love it. But I mean, we've shot things off of one another, and really it's kind of that iron sharpening iron deal, where you're never going to be able to get the best out of yourself because you're partial, or you're too close to your own ideas, or you're too close to your own product. And quite honestly, like, as good as it is for you to say, I like my brand, that's going to be a blind spot for you. That's going to be a blind spot for me as we go further down the road. When is that brand no longer effective? And that's where other people want, or when does it need tweaking, or when is it time for a refresh?
It always,
you know what I mean?
needs
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. I already see that I'm going to be in need of at least a photo refresh by mid 2016.
Yeah.
For sure. Things don't ever, the things that stay stagnant are the things that die. And if it stays stagnant, it means it's not working. And then I move on to something else and make other changes and adjustments. That's one of the joys about being an online entrepreneur, I think, is that I am never bored and things are never the same.
Yeah. So really quick, I've got another direction I want to go. It's like completely taking another way, but I want to jump back real quick. Are there any, like, let's just say that I've got $200 to spend on both audio and video for doing stuff. Where should I spend that $200? Where am I going to get the most value?
Well, you definitely want to invest in a good mic. So investing in a good mic with that money, and then a light. There's a light called the Riff Labs Kick that's about $148, and you could probably get a decent mic. See, I'm pushing you over your budget already. Well, you can go with the Movo PM10, which was a recommendation that I got from Sebastian Rusk for $25. So that's a clip-on lav mic, and then if you get the Riff Labs Kick, which is $148, that's about $200 right there. You can always also use natural light, but you need to understand the natural light and use it, during the right times of day. Otherwise, your video is going to look crazy.
And there's different calibers or levels of quality depending on what you're doing. Like right here, what we're doing right now is way different than if you're trying to, like, you do all of your little training and tutorials, and you've got a YouTube channel just packed full of all that stuff. You had a really cute one with how do I focus when I'm the only person around?
Oh yeah, how do you get your focus when you're the only one there without using autofocus?
It was so good. I was like, why did I think of that? I don't know why I didn't think of that. It was brilliant, but you've just packed it full. So like, there's different levels too. Like right now, yes, lighting's important and audio's important and video's important. If somebody's watching this on, the YouTube channel or something, but the video and the lighting might not be as important as if we were producing like a actual tip that's going to be our brand. Is that correct, do you think?
I think it should always be a priority to produce the best possible content and video that you can.
Yeah.
Like right now, I could have just mailed it in and shown up in my pajamas with, if I shut this light off, you're going to see the difference.
Yeah.
In the quality of the video that I'm even using here.
I've got my two little lights going here. I bought these two little lights from IKEA for $20 a piece, and I bought these diffusers. They're actually meant to be like light boxes that you use for taking pictures of really small products.
Oh, yes, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Yes, and I love that.
I just put them on top. I took some little clamps and I hold them in there, and it actually diffuses the light perfectly, and I've got a decent light. Okay, so now the direction that I wanted to go. Oh, and I'll just say for the record, I have the, what is this? The Logitech C910, I think is what I have.
You're talking about the camera.
Yeah, the camera.
Yep.
I get more comments when I do webcams and when I do video recordings for like on the computer. I get more comments about this than anything else that I've done as far as equipment. Immediately they're like, wow, your video is so clear. It's like, yeah, because I'm not using my iMac camera. I don't care what they say about how good it is or what the quality is. I know what I see in it. I see that it looks horrible. So that I spent $100 on that when I launched my business. I said, look, I'm going to try doing some stuff via webcam, so I need to look good. So I spent $100 on that camera, and I love it. So
a wise investment.
A wise investment. Yes, it has been. It's really been good. Okay, so let's go to the extent. Like, I want to go to another direction here.
Yeah.
Lots of us get really frustrated with our video. We really nitpick ourselves. We look at all of the imperfections. Like right now, like I don't know what you think about my hair right now, but I look at my hair and I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like I didn't care because I got a haircut today, and I never style my hair on the days I get a haircut for personal reasons. I just don't. Like, I just don't. And I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, I don't like the way my hair looks, but you probably didn't think anything of it. If anything, you were like, oh, it looks a tad bit different, but you probably didn't take any note.
No, none at all. And that's the thing. Like, we end up being our own worst critics, and especially seeing ourselves and hearing ourselves for the first time on video, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. You immediately want to reject what you're seeing and you're hearing because it doesn't match the image that you have of yourself in your mind. There was a really awesome TED Talk put together by Duncan Davidson, and he is the photographer for TED. And in his talk, he breaks down why we do this. And it's basically like this psychological thing, like with our voice, we hear ourselves in the inside of our own head. So when we hear our voice played back to us, it doesn't sound anything like the way that we think we sound. And we're not used to seeing and hearing ourselves. So it's like meeting somebody new for the first time, and you're all like, who are you? You know, like, what's up with you? And that's how you sound. But it's really just you, and that's how you look, and that's how you sound to everybody else. But, we're really hard on ourselves because I think, a lot of times we hold ourselves to a certain standard, and we expect to, our image to be a certain way and all of these things. So it's like when you see a photo of yourself or a video, and it doesn't match that image that you have in your head, that you look in the mirror and with your own personal mental filters and whatnot, then you immediately want to just like reject that image. Like, that's not what I look like. That's not what I sound like. But in reality, that's exactly what you look and sound like. And it just takes time to get used to that. So much so it's like when you see somebody that you know for a really long time, you're not like nitpicking all their flaws. It's just like, that's who they are. This is them. That's it.
I have a tweet that goes out, and you may have seen it, but it says something along the lines of, the more I watch videos of myself where I fumble and make mistakes and, where it's not perfect, the more I like that, because that's just naturally who I am. Like, I tried. What are some of the mistakes that you've made with video? Like, what are some of the things where did you ever try to be somebody else, or did you ever find yourself trying to mimic, or talk a little bit about that? Because that's the thing that I keep trying to do is, like, as much as I'm comfortable with myself, when I try something new, I don't have a reference point, so I just try to be like somebody else. I'm like, oh, this feels terrible.
It wasn't that I was trying to be somebody else. I just thought I needed to come and show up in my videos as professional Holly, and like I kind of left my sense of humor out of it. And I really wasn't including that part of it. And there's actually a funny story about this. So my first couple of videos, I'm like, all like, hi, I'm Holly. In my time, I wasn't married yet. So, hi, I'm Holly Sugru, and this is my video, and I'm going to be completely serious and nothing out of the ordinary here. And this is it, and blah, blah, blah. And I met this woman who had watched all my videos, and she said to me later on, she's like, when I met you, I didn't think that I'd like you because you're not that funny. You don't really, you're kind of like all business in your videos. She's like, I thought we would never get along. And then we met in person. She's like, and you are so funny and you have so much personality. Yeah. She's like, that just didn't come across in your videos. And I was like, I was holding back because I just assumed, coming from a professional environment and a professional world where you're working with corporations and corporate clients and things like that, where you have to be like professional version of yourself at all times, and you can't really let like the jokes slip in because you don't want to offend anybody, you don't like all these things, but really that's the stuff that people love about you. And this is great. Using that in video will help people get to know you really quickly and determine whether or not they like you. If they like you, they hang out with you, they stay around, they watch your videos. And if they don't, they leave, and it doesn't matter anyway because they wouldn't do business with you because they don't like you.
Exactly. That's the whole beauty of Periscope, right? Like it immediately allows you to pull down those barriers. I mean, we started following one another probably back in like April or May.
Yeah.
And when we met in September at Periscope Summit, I mean, we didn't get to talk as much as we probably wanted to, but we got to chat it up, and it was like, I mean, hopefully I was the same person in real life that you had come to know, but it was seriously like just picking up where we had left off, because that's exactly what you're talking about.
Same thing, like picking up where we left off. Yeah. And that is the power of video. That is the power of using platforms like Periscope and Blab and other things like that, where you really have an opportunity to let people see you, hear you, and while you be you. And it really is such a powerful, powerful thing.
Do you listen to Jim Gaffigan at all?
Yes, I love Jim Gaffigan.
You were saying like see you, hear you, be you. It made me think of his gym sketch. Do you remember his gym sketch? He's like
after you start going into it all.
He's like, I don't understand what it is with the mirrors at the gym. He's like, I know what I look like. That's why I'm here. He says maybe people are like, I like to look at myself when I work on myself. I record a video of I record a audio of myself so I can listen to myself as I work on myself. And I write myself a message so I can read about myself as I listen to, and it just goes on, and it's really, really funny. But I don't know why there's a mirror. I know what I look like. That's why I'm here in the first place.
I love Jim Gaffigan. He's hysterical.
He is very, very funny. So the other thing that you're talking about, getting used to yourself, and we are our own biggest critic. And
I would like to add something to that.
Yeah, add it.
Is that what you need to remind yourself of is with videos on Periscope, like typically 99% of the people are rooting for you. Mm-hmm. They want to see you succeed. They're not there because they want to see you fail or fumble on your words or get nervous or whatever the case may be. They're there because they want to hear what you have to say, and they're interested in you. People, generally speaking, root for one another.
Yeah.
People, generally speaking, see the good in you when you don't see it in yourself.
That's so true. Have you ever gotten messages from people after a scope or even in your scope saying like, this is what I needed to hear today?
Absolutely. And like, I just got the chills. Like that, like melts my heart. Yeah. That like keeps me going. That is why I love what I do.
Did you ever think that when you first started putting yourself out there, did you ever think that somebody would send you a message saying, this is exactly what I needed to hear today? Because that thought never crossed my mind.
No, I was busy thinking about, what if I make a mistake? What if this? What if that? And you know what? I actually had a really emotional scope when it really hit me. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm so concerned that I'm not going to present the way that I want to present, that it's holding me back from actually sharing what I know that can help other people. Mm-hmm. And instead of thinking, what if negative thing, what if negative thing, what if negative thing, I started thinking, what if I can help just one person today? That is my goal. Yeah. Not what if I have something in my tooth when I start and people are like, oh my God, she has something in her tooth. Who cares? All right, go just pick it out and let's keep it moving.
let's keep changing lives here, guys. Spinach in the teeth ain't going to stop us from changing lives.
No, I had somebody say that they had a booger in their nose the whole time they were doing a scope and they didn't realize. Obviously, the only thing I was thinking, it was a good thing sometimes the quality is not that great. It's not like everybody can see up your nose.
That's so true. And okay, so that's a complete sidestep, but like you think about something like Periscope and you want to talk about the value of content over quality. The quality on Periscope is terrible. And sometimes the audio is a little bit janky too. But if you've got a good message and if you're really identifying what it is that you want to communicate, like I do not broadcast unless I have clarity of thought, which I'll go sometimes a stretch without broadcasting because I don't have the mental space to get clarity of thought.
Same with me. And I totally agree with that. Like, I'm not just like, I'm going to scope today because I said I was going to scope. Not because I maybe said to myself, but not said to other people. Like, today I'm going to scope. Like, I'm just going to do it. And I don't know what I'm just going to wing it. You can't wing it.
Nope.
definitely need to have a purpose. I mean, winging it is not an option unless you're doing it for fun. It's not business related. Then wing it all you want. But when it comes to business and achieving your goals and thinking about the bigger picture of what you want to do and who you want to help and how you want to help them and all of these things, winging it is not an option.
Yeah. So let's just say that you've got the, I really am curious to your thoughts on this because I don't know what I think about it. Let's just say you've got your 4 purposes filled up, that why and how and what. And let's say you've got those filled up. Let's say you've got a decent audio, a decent video. Let's say you get over the mental hurdle, like you still don't like the way your hair looks or something, but you get over that mental hurdle, you're like, whatever. They're not going to notice it. And you start going after it, and you just don't see results. Like, you're producing these videos, and you're keeping them short because I'll just say right now, like, your videos need to be shorter than they need to be longer. Especially starting off. Like, don't try and do a 6-minute video. Try and do a 2-minute video because you could probably say something awesome in 2 minutes if you've never done video before. It's going to be really hard to say something awesome in 6 minutes if you've never done video.
Couldn't agree with you more.
So let's just say that you've got that down, but you're putting it out there. You're not getting positive feedback, or you don't feel like people are interacting with you. You don't get any. And you just don't feel like you're at your best. Like, should you just give up, or are there, because I think that's what people do. They're just like, they try it 5 times, and then they move on. Like, what's the long-term strategy here? Like, is there a long-term strategy? And because I don't know what I think about this. Is video just not for some people, I think is what I'm trying to get to.
I mean, is video not for just some people? I think that video can be for anybody.
Okay, I like that answer. Now you have to back it up.
But the thing is, you don't want to do things in your business that you don't enjoy, especially if you're the one running your business. But that being said, consistency is key. You really need to stay consistent with whatever you're doing, especially when it comes to video. Building up a channel, building up cloud, building up your following, all these things that are eventually going to lead to building up your business take time. They are not done in a few weeks. They are not done in a few months. It takes sometimes a while, longer than that.
Yep.
So staying consistent and constantly tweaking and saying, okay, great. What went right in this video? What went wrong? What can I do better next time? Okay, do I need to adjust like the audience? Like, who am I making this for? Am I talking to them? Do I really understand their needs, their wants, their desires? How can I deliver the most value to them? By hiring people like me as your video consultant to come in and take a look at what you're doing and say, okay, this is what you need to do. Your YouTube channel is completely not optimized, and that's why nobody's finding your stuff. And or your videos are a little long and nobody wants to tell you.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be.
I love that. I think what you said, if you don't enjoy it, like if you've given it a fair shake, if you're doing it out of obligation and you don't enjoy it, I think that is a good indicator of like, hey, maybe there's somebody in my organization, or maybe there's somebody else who can do this. But I love the idea. So the thing that I've been telling people when it comes to Periscope, and I think it's good, just rule for anything, but a lot of times people have a hard time pressing that start broadcast button when it comes to Periscope, because it's like all of a sudden I go live to the world and anybody and everybody can see my flaws. I mean, never mind that they can see how you can change the world, but like, and so you hear people talk about how they're just sweating and they're in a panic trying to do that. And so one of the things that I tried to do to let people off the hook was just saying, look, your first 100 broadcasts are going to suck. So just know that they're going to suck.
Bang them out.
And get them out. Get them out of the way. Well, should I not do it if they're not going to be good? No.
That's how they get good.
That's how they get good. You start off with 100% suck and 0% good. Or maybe let's just give you a little bit. 99% suck, 1% good. And by the time you get to 50, it evens out. And then as you keep going, not that you get to 100% good and 0% suck, but it's like they always get better than they get worse. If you just keep trucking away and you keep focusing in on, why am I broadcasting? Why am I recording this video in the first place? That why is such a huge question, and you forget it, I forget it, we all forget it, and it's like The second we start seeing like no results or weird results or like weirdos contact us, it's like, what did I do? And you go back, you're like, oh, I didn't really focus in on my why, and that's why weirdos are contacting me, or that's why people are asking me this, or that's why I'm not hearing anything, because I didn't record this with a why in mind.
Yeah, exactly. You need to constantly be evaluating and adjusting and making tweaks along the way. Love it. Yeah, yeah. I love that saying your first 100 will suck. And it's true. And the same, I say the same thing about video. Like, I equate video to riding a bike. When you first start riding a bike, you get on the bike, you have no confidence, no balance, you don't even know what you're doing. You're like, what are these things? But you have training wheels, or you have somebody running alongside you to hold you up while you get your balance, while you build your confidence. And then before you know it, you're popping wheelies down the street. But you can't just hop on the bike and pop wheelies down the street. That's not how it works.
Not at all.
No.
Especially with video. One of the biggest frustrations I've had, and I've wound up just hiring somebody when I get to this point. But one of my big frustrations was when I was like trying to record video all on my own, like pro video, not like this, but like I had my tripod set up, I had my light kit out, I had my Canon 7D with my really nice lens and all that stuff. That was just a headache. And I got good at it because I kept going after it, and I kept trying and I kept trying. And like even little things like lighting a whiteboard suck. It's so hard to light a whiteboard. And you're talking about, not being able to hop on that bike and just go. My first time, I thought that I could just hop on the bike and go. Like I would just light the whiteboard and I would go. And I'm just like, this is so much harder. So I had to take 15, 20 minutes just to watch a tutorial on how to accurately light a whiteboard.
Sure. No, I mean, that's just how it goes. You need to learn, you need to do, and then you need to adjust, and then you need to do it, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Okay, so a question that I get asked by a lot of people, and I have my own answers. There's no right answer. There's only your answer. But if like there's Vimeo, there's YouTube, there's Wistia, there's Facebook, there's all these different places to wind up hosting video. What are some of the things that you consider when you're uploading video to different platforms? Do you use different platforms for different reasons?
Absolutely.
Can you break it down for us, just very simply?
Yeah, for instance, YouTube is basically a search engine. So if you want your videos to be seen, to be found, to be public, you want to put them on YouTube. If you're creating video content that is private for a course, not for everybody's eyes, maybe behind a paywall, things like that, you want to make sure that you're using like Vimeo Pro to host those so that they look nice and people can play them, or Wistia, which is even better because they have an enormous array of analytics and ways that you can track how much people are watching, what percentage people watch, what are people rewatching, who's opening, how much are they watching, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So different tools for different reasons. Absolutely. It's like, I'm going to go fix this car, but I only have a screwdriver. No, you can't fix the car with only a screwdriver. You need different tools.
Yeah. So one of the aversions that people would have to Vimeo is paying for the Vimeo Pro. What are some of the features that you really like that Vimeo Pro offers besides just like privacy settings?
To be honest, I don't personally I have a Vimeo Pro account, but I don't.
Okay. What do you use for your lockdown stuff?
I was using Wistia, and now I just signed up for the new Kajabi, and the Kajabi videos are hosted right there in conjunction with Wistia.
How's that new Kajabi working out? Because I used to use Kajabi. I couldn't stand Kajabi, but what I've heard so far is the new one is what the old one should have been.
I haven't used the old one, so I can't speak about that.
Okay.
But I love the way it looks. It's very, very pretty. Sorry.
You got a visitor there?
Sorry, hear that? That is not my stomach. That is my dog.
I could see it in your eyes.
Sorry about that. He's like, where are you going to, you said you were going to play with me.
What kind of dog is he?
A pit bull.
Whoa,
he's a 70-pound lap dog pit bull.
That's awesome. So, okay, you were talking about Kajabi.
So Kajabi, definitely love the way that it looks. And as far as the customer experience goes, I think it's very nice, and it's easy to kind of organize the different videos and the content and the downloadables. But it's still in beta, so there's definitely some kinks that need to be worked out. But I think that the company as a whole is very well listening, first of all, and really want to make this a better platform,
Awesome.
as opposed to like, here, we sold you something, good luck, like we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
care. Like they seem to be very they have their finger on the pulse of what people are looking for, and they're working on getting it to them.
That's awesome. One of the things that I look for, one of the reasons why I love Wistia,
Yeah.
is because it's very in line with one of the things that I look for when I use software is, are you forward thinking? That's what I say.
They
Are
certainly
you
are.
forward thinking? Because if you're forward thinking, that means, one, your product's probably not going to be perfect because you're always trying new things out, but it probably means that as soon as something comes out that everybody wants, you're going to figure out a way to capitalize on it. And like Slack is a forward thinking company. I think, Wistia is a forward thinking company. MailChimp is a very forward thinking company. They don't have all the features that some of the other ones some of the other ones out there use, but they're very forward thinking.
Yes.
And Google is a very forward thinking company. They're always coming out with new stuff. Amazon is forward thinking. And then you look at like Facebook or Twitter, I feel like they're not really forward thinking. I'm not like bashing them. I love both of them and I use them and I rely on them. But when you're picking out companies to work with, I mean, even with video and stuff like that, like you want a forward thinking company that's like,
Absolutely.
how can we make this as painless and as easy on our customers as possible? And then it's making sure you get the right tool. Like YouTube will never compete with Wistia because there's no reason for it to compete with Wistia. Like,
And
why
that's totally
would they?
fine.
And it's totally
fine. Just like, there's other people who do what you do and other people who do what I do. I don't want to compete with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm in my own lane doing my own thing in my own way with my own skill set, my own experience, and my own personality.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, we've kind of covered, I love these conversations because really, I do it more, I do DAC Talk more for just to kind of pull back that sheen a little bit because everything that is typical, we were talking about this before I hit the big red record button, but like, I was saying like everything is typically a sheen. Like you put out there what you want people to see, but there's a lot of stuff that isn't glamorous. And you would say like, hey, it's just the way life is. And that's what I really love about, these conversations is just kind of pull it back a little bit and help people realize like, look, like I really struggle when it comes to coding and I really struggle when it comes to animation and I really struggle when it comes to illustration. One thing I'm good at, I'm really good at talking on a central point for a short period of time. And that's what you wind up seeing. So, what are some of the encouragements that you give to your clients who hire you on as a video consultant and just say, look, I really want to bring this in. I'm not sure if this is for me. I'm very frustrated. Like, are there any like real go-tos that you use? I mean,
yes,
anything that you've already said we could lean on, but if there was anything else.
Something I always say to everyone is that you need to remember that you are someone's reason to smile. So don't give up. And what I basically mean by that is that the information that you have to share, the reason why you're doing what you're doing is so that you can help people. And when you sit on the sidelines, when you step out of the spotlight in your business, what you're doing is you're denying those people that help that you have to share with them. So when I say, remember that you're someone's reason to smile, so don't give up, means don't give up if you don't have win after win after win after win. Nobody's business is win after win after win after win. If it is, congratulations to you. You are the exception, not the rule. You can't give up. Like there are people waiting to hear what you have to say. There are people's lives that you make a difference in because of what you do, because of what you know, because of your zone of genius, because of how you share and teach and help. So don't give up.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love that whole don't give up message. It just, there's too little time and there's too many people who are exactly where you were a year ago and they're desperate to hear from you. They're desperate to know what it took for you to arrive where you're at today, Holly G, versus where you were a year ago because they're like, I want to do that. I want to make the things that she makes. I want my videos to be as, clean and crisp. I want my message to be honed in. I think it's really good. Okay, so if people want to connect with you, I connected with you. I'm on your mailing list, and I love getting your emails. And
thank you.
I'm subscribed to your YouTube channel, and so I always watch those little YouTubes that come in, and I comment too. I don't comment on all of them, but I do comment, and I think you've seen some of my comments.
I appreciate it.
But if somebody wants to connect with you, is there any place that you would like to send people? Is there any resource that you have that would be, just a really good place for someone to start? Be like, okay, fine, you guys convinced me. I'm going to give video a go again.
Absolutely. Right now, I am actually running a 5-day video challenge.
Woo!
And yeah, and it is literally like no pressure, no like, just if you want to make the videos, you don't necessarily have to show anybody. Just get into action mode
Yeah.
because that is what is going to breed you the results that you're looking for. I'm telling you right now, because I think I tried it at one point or another. Wishing it into reality does not quite make it reality. So you actually have to do some stuff. So in order to facilitate the stuff that you need to do, I created the 5-day Get Started Video Challenge. And you can find out more information about that at hollygstudios.com/get started.
Yeah. Whenever you give links, all I can think is that little jingle
I
that you
know
made.
that jingle.
It was really good. It's stuck in my head. I won't give it right now because we want people to go to. What did you just say?
hollygstudios.com/get started.
That's where we want people to go. So
I
we're not
can
gonna
make another jingle.
Oh yeah, you should make another jingle. And then if you do, we'll record it real quick. So by the time I send this one out in mid-December, I'll just tack it on to the end as the closeout. And I'll be like, hey, instead of the normal DAC Talk music, we've got Holly G singing a jingle. Everyone...
You remember what happened last time during the live Periscope where I was trying to make up another jingle? That was embarrassing.
No, it was great. You were endearing people to yourself. You probably got 15,000 fans just from that one little jingle that you were making up on the spot.
So silly.
People love that sort of stuff. Awesome. Holly, thank you so much. I love watching you, and I'm really, really glad that you took time to hang out with me for a little bit here. And folks, just if you want to do video, just get on it. And if you need help, Holly's the one to help you out. I mean, you can ask me for help. I'll just send you to her. I'll be like, this is what Holly does. Go to her because she'll make it very easy for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, if you are still hanging around, this is your little bonus for being a good DAC Talk student and hanging out to the very end. So one of the questions that I really wanted to hit on that we forgot was this idea of what role does video play in your business? And that's a big question, and it can go a lot of different places. So Holly, what role does and what should people consider as they decide what role video should play in their business? Because it can play a huge role.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, video plays a humongous role. And not just because I'm a video professional and video is my business, but all the statistics, you can check any stat anywhere related to video. They're all shooting very high. They're all going up. Video is not going anywhere. More people are consuming video, more people are watching video, more people are using video, more people are making video. And it's really kind of like if you want to, it's not really an option anymore. Like it was maybe a few years ago. Like if you didn't want to use video in your business, maybe it was okay. You could still like just use images and stuff and text and whatnot. But it's just not, a realistic option because it's such a huge role in an online business because there's no other tool that allows you to connect with your audience the way that video does. And when I say video, I mean like all different types of video, not just like I'm making a produced video where everything is kind of like the way that I want it for YouTube, or I'm talking about impromptu blabs, appearances planned or unplanned on Periscope or other live streaming things. Like that's video too. And if you're not comfortable on camera, you're going to have a hard time utilizing those platforms to really benefit your business. I did some digging around in my stats personally like maybe about 6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I discovered that nearly 75% of the people who bought from me were on my list for less than 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And that tells me something about, I'm doing some research now to figure out like what was the thing, whether it was because my opt-ins led into a paid program or course for the most part, or was it because people really got to know me very quickly and trust me and like me to buy things from me within that first 3 months because of the fact that I use a lot of video.
Yeah.
So when you're running an online business, people don't have an opportunity to come into your office and shake your hand and look you in the eyes and see if you're a trustworthy human being that they want to fork over some cash to. And with video, it allows people to hear your voice, to hear your passion, to feel you, to see your mannerisms and your body language, to get a full understanding of who you are. And it's a great tool that you can use for you to be anywhere at any time. Like you can be sleeping and your video is doing the talking for you.
It's that other 80% of communication that you don't get.
Yes.
via
With
phone,
text.
via text, via whatever. It's that other 80%. I love it. One of the things that I've gotten creative in utilizing business for my clients. So I have my services section of my business is, high-end clients. And so we try to do a lot of video, and they don't have people on staff who are just naturally gifted in video and can keep that conversation flowing. So what I've begun doing is getting creative. So one of them is where I will actually be the host of a pre-recorded webinar, and I don't know their businesses. So as far as as much as they do, I do my business,
Yeah.
they do theirs. So I'm actually a really good interviewer because I don't know all the intricacies. So I wind up prompting them, and then even though I'm in the video and I don't prefer that, but that's the best way to get it done, we chop those up and we put them on YouTube, and then we embed them on their website and stuff, so they have at least something. Even though they're not good on video, they have something that allows them to display their authority. Could it be better? Yes. But have they been effective? Absolutely. We look at the stats and we see it. Another thing that I've been doing to get video for a mule trainer, Holly, to use video for a mule trainer is I get all the questions that he has people call him and leave.
Yeah.
And we record a Skype session. But I just prompt him with the question, and I say, don't talk to me. Talk to as if there was a class in front of you. And so I don't have to say anything. I record the video, and I just put him on it the whole time. So video in business is huge, and there's all sorts of different ways to implement it. I love that you threw in Blab. I love that you threw in Periscope, and the unconventional and conventional ways, because it's huge.
I mean, even to add to that, different ways to dominate with video in your business, thinking outside the box, is using Twitter video and Instagram video, because not a lot of people are utilizing those platforms by using video on them. And there are different ways that you can definitely stand out from the crowd and differentiate yourself and your brand and your style and your personality and all of those good things is by using video on every platform.
Awesome. Well, that was a great little bonus. Hope you guys liked it. Holly, thanks again.
Of course.